Give us the big finale, Raichu!
What is going on, APDL? We are here for week 4 with our game against the Gallivanting Gallades, coached by Quincy, aka Cat Fox 1987. Now, Quincy and I have historically have pretty insane matches. Like, him and I going back, we've met each other, you know, ever since meeting each other in grand finals of APDL, back all the way with the PU. That was just, I don't know, every single meeting we have is just so iconic, and I just love playing against him, as he is one of the most unconventional coaches that I've ever really played against. And so every time going up against them, you really have to keep your guard up. So without rambling on too much, let's go check out how our team compares to the Gallades this week for our week number 4 matchup. So looking here, we can see that we have our squad: Mousehold, Samurott, Dudunsparce, Dodrio, Claydol, newly added Sableye. So we used the free agent pickup to grab ourselves Sableye, which is really cool. Really rounds out some of our fighting and psychic weaknesses to help grant some key immunities. Again, Togedemaru, Barbaracle, Tauros, and finally Aggron, which is our new addition to the lineup since picking it up from the Western Bellator's last season, or last game. Looking at the Gallades here, a very versatile team. Heavy, like chock full of just straight physical attackers. We also see that in terms of the key speedy threats, his will outspeed mine. So that was one thing to keep into consideration, as he has his partner Pokemon Kangaskhan. Very good, very bulky, very versatile. Again, Scrappy is an amazing ability, so this thing can hit anything it wants. Minior, which we have seen Measly pop off with in the past, shell smashing, 120 speed and 100 base special attack and attack, is just, it's so versatile, so cool. Pachirisu, very good utility. Tauros, Paldea Aqua, Prior, it's so good. Stats are so good. Everybody knows Tauros, especially the variants are just cracked this generation. Palosand, very tanky, very good typing, like the Ghost and Ground, and just a defensive monster. Wheezing, again, defensive monster, good for hazard setup, tanking, lots of physical hits, very versatile, well-rounded special attacker. Fortress with the hazard game, that super great typing except fire, but other than that, can also hit pretty hard, especially with Gyro Ball. Houndoom, very speedy, great typing offensively, need to watch out for that. Kingler can smack very hard with sheer force, need to be wary of that. And then finally, the gimmick Mon itself with Swoobat having simple, have to be very careful of that running away with the game. So overall, a very interesting lineup that the Gallades have, and so we need to take our time to prep against this very carefully, as there was many avenues that Quincy could have gone. And so if you want to check out what we brought this week in terms of our team builder, you can stick along with us for the ride as I go into detail about each of the sets. But if you're more so just wanting to check out the game and its action, just skip ahead down to the time below. But without further ado, let's go on to our first Pokemon. So our first Pokemon that we're bringing this week is Tauros Paldea Combat. See a Tauros, want to bring a Tauros. Now, thought that Tauros matched up pretty well this week, as we're running Adamant Nature with max HP and attack, with 8 leftover EVs put into speed so that we can speed creep on his Tauros in case he decides to bring it uninvested. So for our item, we are running Assault Vest so we can help tank some choice special hits from his team, as well as Intimidate to help alleviate some of that physical pressure that we know the Gallades are going to bring. For our attacking moves this week, we have Rock Slide, Raging Bull, Trailblaze, and Zen Headbutt. Now, Raging Bull is great in case he has screens to run, but he hasn't really in the past as well. It's just nice to have a stab fighting move that's 100% accurate, which will not make ourselves weaker over time with those defense and special defense drops that you'd get from close combat. Trailblaze is interesting as once we get our speed sort of ramped up a little bit, both Rock Slide and Zen Headbutt get way better. This way we're able to capitalize on any potential flinches. So really like the synergy there overall. So that is Tauros for the week. After Tauros, we're bringing Barbaracle, coming back for another week. This time, not this time, every time, we're running Shell Smash. Nah, but thought it was too good to not bring this week. So we're running Shell Smash with Liquidation, Grass Knot, and Rock Blast. So this is a bit of a mixed attacking set, which does some very good damage across his whole team once the Shell Smash is set up. We have Focus Sash here to make sure we can get one off, as well as Tough Claws to multiply all of our contact moves by 1.3 times damage, which is very good. So the max attack, max speed, and special attack are all there to help capitalize on Shell Smash. Now, Grass Knot is doing crazy good damage after a Shell Smash against Kingler, against Tauros. They're one-hit KOing them, especially Tauros if they're uninvested with HP or whatnot. 2-hit KOs, max HP, max defense Fortress with Liquidation. Essentially, once this thing Shell Smashes, Barbaracle will tear through his team. So thinking we might use this as a potential lead or as another option throughout the game. So that is Barbaracle. After Barbaracle, we have Claydol coming back again. This time we're having a Rocky Helmet set as we're going max HP and defense with a bold nature. We're running Stealth Rocks, Scorching Sands for an attacking move, and that nice 30% chance to burn targets, as that'll be very good against the physical attackers throughout the Gallades lineup. And then lastly, we're running Trick Room and Teleport. So Trick Room this week, thought it was going to be a very viable option as many aspects of his team are pretty fast, and so I wanted to be able to combat against this by having a sort of pseudo Trick Room core this week, which will be definitely highlighted by the next Pokemon we bring next. And that Pokemon we're bringing next is Aggron. Aggron is our dedicated Trick Room boy this week. Life Orb is the item, Rock Head is the ability. We're going maximum HP, max attack with an adamant nature. Head Smash, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, and Crunch are all the attacking moves. These do extremely good damage to majority of his team, if not all of it. Head Smash with Rock Head in tandem with Life Orb just destroys many Pokemon on his team. The Thunder Punch there for the water types, Fire Punch specifically for Fortress, and Crunch to do really good damage against Swoobat or Palisand. So Aggron here is our big beefy boy smacking away. Really excited to try him out for the first time in our lineup here. Our fifth Pokemon of the week is Sableye. Very excited to try him out for the first time this week. We're running a dual screens with Light Clay, Prankster as the ability, having max HP and defense, a little bit left over into attack so that we can increase just a little bit our one attacking move in Knockoff. Knockoff, very good against taking off some key items throughout the game. As well, Encore on Sableye. Really thought that this could be good in tandem with Prankster, just in case he gets caught setting up or doing a foolish move throughout the game. Really thought about this for a long while and deliberated between Will-O-Wisp or Encore. Last minute decided to switch away from Will-O-Wisp and go with Encore, as I thought it would provide a little more counterplay to my team to allow me to get into some choice situations against certain Pokemon. Now, looking back at the replay, I may have wanted to go with Will-O-Wisp, but I don't know. It's tough having only 4 moves sometimes, so had to make the decision, went with Encore. So we'll see how it works out for us this week as Sableye joins the crew for the first time. For our last set of the week, it is our set of the week, Dudunsparce. Now this boy is thick. Its debut is happening this week, and we're running leftovers as well as the rattled ability, which raises our speed by 1 if hit by a bug, dark, or ghost type attack. So basically bug or dark, or if we're intimidated. So getting hit by things like U-turn, things like knockoff, really great. We can raise our speed, or if we get intimidated, say by his Tauros, we'll also increase our speed, which is awesome. Now, speaking of that, we're gonna be running a Calm Mind set as we're maxing our HP and our defense, as we're boosting our special attack and special defense. As well, the EVs are here specifically with the 44 points in speed to outspeed a Weezing that is uninvested with its base speed. So putting 44 in speed allows us to outspeed a Weezing. Everything else there with the 232 in HP is the optimal leftovers recovery number for this beast. Now again, we're running the Calm Mind, and for our attacking moves we have Boom Burst, which is just such a good move across his team, and Flamethrower specifically for Fortress. So whatever, the only problem really is Palisand, but other than that, Boom Burst is doing crazy damage, especially after 1 or 2 Calm Minds. This thing 100% accurate, base 140 with stab is just so good. And then lastly, we have Roost as a awesome recovery move. So that is the set of the week. Really stoked about Dudunsparce and really excited to try him out. So that was our team that we brought this week. Really excited and happy with the prep that we did, and thinking that we're gonna have a pretty decent time against the Gallades here. So with everything said, everything seen with our team, we got nothing left to do except to hop straight into the game. So let's go check it out. Okay, so we have the Sauce Boss versus Catfox 1987. Now, we have, of course, our lineup that we brought here with us, but we're facing off against a Weezing, Kangaskhan, Minior, Kingler, Swoobat, and Fortress. So a pretty scary lineup. Looking at his team, nothing that I'm too scared about. Wrecking Barbaracle, so we're just gonna try and see if we can catch him off guard with Shell Smash right away. So he sends out Kingler, I send out Barbaracle. He goes straight for the knockoff, as we know he doesn't have any priority moves, so we just go for a safe little Shell Smash, and at this point we're feeling pretty awesome. So we go for the Grass Knot here, trying to get a kill onto Kingler, but he smartly switches into Capone, the Fortress. Now, Capone here is an absolute beast. We're gonna get Liquidation off, as we know we can 2-hit KO this thing, but Gyro Ball comes out, and with the minus defense drop, it deals a lot of damage. And so 46% health lost. Dave goes down. See you, Dave. Now we're here at like 6-5, so already not up to the best start, to be honest. Yeah, we just lost our Shell Smash. Barbaracle does not feel good, and he really only took 50% health on Capone. So now we're figuring he might want to set up some hazards potentially, so maybe we can trick him into an Encore or use this passivity to maybe set up some screens. So I thought he might switch, but either or, I want to get this leftovers off this thing, as it's kind of awkward to work around Fortress. So I get the leftovers knocked off, and he sets up a layer of spikes. I get up a Reflect, and he starts going for a Bug Bite, which is awesome. So I get him encored into that, as I'm thinking if he goes into, or if he just keeps trying to Bug Bite, I'm gonna go straight into Dudunsparce and start proccing off some rattles, you know, to increase our speed. So that's what I try and do. He Bug Bites. We go into Dudunsparce. But he decides he doesn't want to be here anymore and goes into Dr. Glug, which this Wheezing, such a cool set, as you'll see why. So neutralizing gas is the ability. Calm Mind starts happening. He starts Dark Pulsing. We're fine. We don't care. We can just set up on this thing at this point. So we get a second Calm Mind off. Yeah. Yeah, this is Clear Smog Wheezing. Very, very cool tech. So all of my hard work trying to set up, completely nullified. So I start going for another Calm Mind, and Clear Smog comes out. So we're at a bit of a standstill here, so I just figure let's just start rattling off Boom Bursts, because I need to start setting up a little bit. He goes for Clear Smog again. Sort of sees that he can't... I mean, I was thinking of what to do here, and I figured if you're just going to keep Clear Smogging me, maybe I go back into Sableye and start setting up screens again. But he goes for Rest. So not only does he have Haze, or not Haze, Clear Smog, he has Rest. So thought about maybe encoring him, but this passivity is super nice. Unfortunate Sleep Talk, so we get off a light screen. And now, isn't that the coolest set? Clear Smog, Dark Pulse, Rest, and Sleep Talk. Very, very cool. I love just like that pseudo haze, like defensive Pokemon. So this thing is a little bit annoying to deal with. So we're gonna use this to start setting up some more screens. We get off the knockoff rather and find out he's Rocky Helmet. So that's very good. Very good that we didn't bring Mousehold this week, as that would have hurt. That would have hurt a lot. So Dr. Glug wakes up, gets off a Dark Pulse as we get off our Reflect. Kingler comes out. Tried to get the Encore out onto Dr. Glug, as you know, he's trying to go for some Dark Pulses, but unfortunately switches into Zoidberg and we go down super hard to a Crab Hammer. Tried to get the knockoff, but wasn't able to do it. So I think this is a great time to go into Black Betty, as we can get off the Intimidate. But he has Hyper Cutter, very cool tech. So not only does he read the Intimidate with Hyper Cutter, he's just chilling. He's Zoidberg. He gets off a Crab Hammer, but we're behind screens, so we're not too bad. We're gonna start getting our Trailblazes going. We have 1 speed plus 2 now, and he gets a crit. Now, we were definitely going to live that, so that is very unfortunate, as now nothing remaining on my team is really faster than Zoidberg. Although we have screens we can live, but it's just like basically I know this thing is choiced, but it's choice banded, so I don't want anything to really take a full Crab Hammer to the face. But there's not much we can do, as he does get the crit, but does not matter. We will carry on. So we got to figure out what to do here. Zoidberg is definitely a problem. So we pull out our Dudunsparce. Wilfy comes in. The crit is forgiven. He misses, which is massive, because we are able to get a Roost off, and now we are at 100% health, which is so good. He still has Dr. Glug, so we have to be very wary, but we can now use this time to set up a few Calm Minds behind a Reflect, which is great. He switches into Wheezing. We get Calm Mind. So we're at +2 again. Now keep in mind, we put in those 44 EVs to outspeed a Weezing. And that's exactly what happens. We boom burst the Weezing, and that feels so good to get him out of the way, as now we are ready to rain terror. Kangipoo comes out, gives us a quick fake out. We flinch, but we're still doing very well with our leftovers recovery. We get a nice boom burst, but it's not enough to kill. And I don't want this thing to really cripple me too hard. So I'm just going to start trying to mitigate as much of the damage as possible by slowly recovering using roost plus leftovers. We do have to be wary as he is slowly regaining health with Drain Punch, but figure that now is the best time to pull out a boom burst, and now we're at 65%. So looking at the game right now, he has Minior left at 100%, Kingler left at 21, Swoobat also at 100%. We have Aggron and Claydol left in the back pocket. So it's 4-3, but it's still very close. Kingler comes out, gives a Brick Break. Unfortunately, it's faster than us. We get a Roost off. We're back to 69%. And again, we're just slowly trying to recover. Now, I know this thing's choiced, but I realize at this point, we'll just try and get as best of a recovery as we can. As now, since playing this out for 3 turns straight in a row, it's one of those situations where I find it's now safe to switch into Claydol. Brick Break comes out, and this is where Rocky Helmet comes in huge. He's now down to 7%, which he's not going to be able to survive another hit. And so now I have a very, very good opening to do whatever I want. So looking at 7%, I think let's try and go for Stealth Rocks. That way Swoobat will take some decent damage, and if this thing wants to come in, it'll also take decent damage, and it can kind of help out with just residual chip. So Swoobat comes in. We get off the Stealth Rock. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this thing is meant to do, so I'm just gonna go straight for a Trick Room and teleport out of here. He doubles back into Fortress, which is great, gives me some priority to figure out what to do. I mean, I was gonna go into Aggron regardless, but there you go. So now it's Capone versus Aggron. We didn't max our speed, we didn't minimize our speed enough, unfortunately. So without putting the 0 IVs into speed, Rapid Spin comes out first in Trick Room actually. So unfortunately, he's able to remove our hazards as we finish off Capone with a Fire Punch. But we do have 2 more turns of Trick Room. And in comes Draco. Now, this is a decision. I can either go for the guaranteed kill with Head Smash, but it's an 80% accurate move, and if I know anything about my team and my luck, sometimes, you know, I can't even hit a Stone Edge to save my life. So it's either that, or I go with the Thunder Punch, which is like a roll. I need to, like, it's like a decent roll, but there's a chance to kill. So I opt to go for the safe play of Thunder Punch, and he lives on 13%. We get Life Orb Chip, and he has Hidden Power. Now, I'm not sure what power that is. I'm pretty sure it's Hidden Power Fighting. So that feels bad, as Aggron is now Dunzo. But we still have a single turn of Trick Room left, which gives us enough leeway to hit off a Boom Burst. And so Draco now goes down, which is great. He wasn't able to pull off a Shell Smash or anything. So now it's a strict 2 versus 2 with the Swoobat and the Kingler versus Wilfy and Claydol. So Trick Room is over. He goes into Zoidberg knowing this is faster. I probably should have just swapped immediately to Claydol and get the Rocky Helmet damage instantly. Maybe he thought I was going to do that as well. So knockoff was just a great play. Knocks off my leftovers. But we get the Rattled Speed boost, which is cool. So Zoidberg goes down. And now in comes the last Pokemon of Swoobat. He starts air slashing me. So I'm not faster than him even with the speed buff, which means he must be choiced scarfed. Possibly. I don't know. He's probably still slower even though. But we're at 22%. We start roosting. He gets a flinch, which it's just like just trying to get around this Swoobat. It's so hard. So we get the roost off. Now I'm not able to kill this thing with a single boom burst. It's a roll. I need to start getting off a few calm mines. So we get a boom burst. Now we're dealing some damage. We're gonna swap in the Claydol as this is our only basically our only win condition. We luckily do not get flinched, and this gives us enough room with 4% health to set up a Trick Room. We just soak the hit as Claydol goes down. In comes Wilfy, and we clean up the Swoobat with a Boom Burst, working around the speeds as we live on 9%, and that is the game. Crazy. We barely win 1-0. It was such an intense game. GG's to you, Quincy. That was incredible. Absolutely nuts. That was such a good game. But Team Rocket rules are in effect, so we gotta go and see what the Gallades are stealing from us this week. So let's go check that out. After much deliberation, we decided to protect Claydol as our team is really relies on Claydol. To be honest, Claydol is one of the most, if not one of the best Pokemon in this tier in my opinion. Access to Levitate, Rapid Spin, utility moves, super good attack and defense stats, absolute ridiculous bulk. Such a good Pokemon that I can't let that go, even though we did just get Sableye. And of course, he picked Sableye to steal. So we got 1 week to use him, and now he's gone. So not gonna lie, that hurts. That hurts, Quincy. That really does. But it's a good Pokemon, so I can't really blame you. And they leave me a Kingler. They just, you know, and to be honest, I can see why you're leaving this thing behind. It's okay. You know, it's got that sheer force, pretty decent attack stat, you know, some crab hammers, choice band that thing, but man, this thing has no special defense and really bad HP. So we'll see what we can do with Kingler, but that is what the steal is. So we'll go from there. Overall, that was such a crazy game. I had so much fun with that game. We were talking after, and yeah, just so many back and forth plays, and was really proud of how I was able to maneuver that, especially coming towards the end and figuring out how to work around different speed tiers, things like that. So felt that we did a really good job, especially with some of the luck here and there. But overall, such a good game. And Quincy, good luck in your next few games here as we move on to 3-1, which is pretty good. You know, looking over on the other side here, we saw that Team Delta won against the Brooklyn Braviaries, so things are getting a little contested here in the Skull Division. So yeah, we have 2 more games left, and not gonna lie, our schedule is super loaded. We have to now face off against defending champions in the Castelia City King Gambits as our next week opponent. So that is going to be so much fun against Idol. Really looking forward to that, but he is going to bring his A game since he needs to try and stay alive in this race, as well as, you know, he's defending champion. So he's got some bragging rights on the line to defend. And finally, our last game, looking ahead, not too far, but, you know, got to be aware. Division rival and opponent in the Brooklyn Braviary is coached by Measley, which is going to be an absolute showdown, if I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, we'll see what we do in the next upcoming weeks here. Might think about doing a little roster shuffle here and there, maybe trying out some of these pack re-rolls, but until then, the squad is solid and really excited for what we were able to do this week. So as always, thank you so much for sticking to the end and watching. I really appreciate all of the love and support for these videos, as well as other creators in this league making videos. And yeah, like, subscribe, and comment to say what you think about this game, as well as, you know, any of the sets that you liked, or maybe any fun ideas that you think I could try in the next coming games. So until then, this is Sauce, and yeah, we'll see you in next week's video against the Castelia City King Gambits. So yeah, GG's and go Raichu!